Alright, time for another tutorial here. It's been a little while, but going to cover something that a couple of people have been trying to do and maybe having a little bit of difficulty with. We're going to look at removing parts that you don't like from a weapon mod and replacing parts with the model used for another one. So we're going to cover both of those things today. For this tutorial, we're going to use Deadpool's service rifle mod. I'll have that link down below. It's excellent, but it just has some features that are useful for this tutorial. So you're going to load your data first, so File, Data, and for this particular mod I'm going to go down to Fallout 4 New Vegas service rifle, make sure that's checked, and I'm going to set it as the active file. We're going to make this an ESP, we're going to make changes to its plugin rather than making a patch to change what we want. So make sure you have backed up that file in your data files before you make any changes to it. Anyway, I'm going to set this to active file, and then click OK, and we're going to wait a little bit for everything to load in. Alright, so that can potentially take several minutes. Just be patient and wait for it. You might get something like this about generating warnings. Don't worry about it, just click OK and continue. Okay. In the creation kit we have the object window. This is where we search for stuff, where we open all the things that we're going to adjust. I like to make things simple rather than trying to find the category for whatever I'm editing. I just go to all and I search for a term that is going to cover it. So I'm going to go up here to the filter after I've selected all at the bottom here. And I'm going to try a few different things that might get me to the service rifle. Fortunately, just the word service rifle gives us everything we need. So we're going to remove a few things and just make them uncraftable, and then we're going to make so that they won't spawn on the weapon. So we're just going to reduce the number of parts. This is done sort of by request to remove some of the sort of more modern things. So we'll look into doing that here. So if I'm going to remove, say, couple of different barrels. These are the co-mods or constructible object mods. They're always going to have this blue icon, and most mod authors will follow this pattern of putting co_mod because that's how Bethesda does it with their parts. So we're going to remove a couple of barrels here. We're going to focus on ported and long ported. So I'm just going to double click on this. So you take a second and it will open up a window like this. All I have to do to make so that this will no longer be on the crafting menu is go to the created object tab up here, scroll all the way to the top and click none. And that's it. I click OK and it will make that change for me. And then I can go into the other one. Do the same thing. Oop. Create object none. Okay. Now those two will not be available to craft in your crafting menu for the weapon. Now if we want to also remove them from enemies' weapons to make sure that they don't show up at all, we're going to scroll down here towards the bottom of the list where we have these mod call. These are mod collections. I actually have another tutorial about dealing with these in a little more detail, so I'll link that below as well. But for right now, we're going to keep this relatively simple. We're just going to go to the barrels, and we're going to find the base one. So we don't want any, because this actually has other menus embedded within it. Or could. I guess it doesn't in this case. So we'll go ahead and just find these two, ported long and ported short, and I'm just going to delete and click OK. And I'm going to check the other barrel lists and see if they are on any of those. Nope, nothing for makeshift. Pre-war, there they are. So I'm going to remove them from here. Okay. And standard makeshift, I don't think they'll be in there. Nope. Okay. So we've removed them from the mod collections. We're going to do one final thing to double check and make sure that they're going to be gone from every version that falls. So this is also in the other tutorial about mod collections, but we'll go ahead and cover it here as well, just to make sure we've gone through everything. I'm going to find the service rifle weapon, which is going to be this. It's going to have this like sword and shield icon next to it. You see all these other ones that are similar. These are all of the unique variants. We're not going to leave those because changing something on them could potentially break them. So we're just going to leave those. We're just going to focus on the base weapon. So I'm going to open up the weapon entry, and up here at the top it has object template. Click on that just once, and we're just going to real quick go through each of these different templates and just check if the barrels use a ported barrel. So let's see, we've got standard, medium, looks like. Barrels, looks like standard, medium. Barrels, any, that's using a mod collection. We already changed that, so it shouldn't do anything. So you would go through each one of those. You just click on a menu up here. Some of them will be empty, especially if they're the epic ones, because it's just using whatever menu it's embedded within. So just check each one, make sure that the barrel entry, so it's going to be 01 F4NV underscore mod underscore service rifle underscore barrel, and then we'll have something after that. So if it is a ported barrel, so let's say this one said ported short instead of combat short, I would just highlight it, I would go over here, and it's going to pop up all of the different parts. So I would just click the one that I want to replace it with, which in most cases you probably just want to put regular long or regular short, since we're replacing the ported long and the ported short. I don't think you're actually going to have to replace anything in this menu for this particular mod. This is more if there was something else you wanted to do besides the barrels that we're currently replacing, because we removed them from the mod collections. And most of the time, more advanced parts are going to be added through those collections rather than directly to one of these templates. So in our particular case, we probably won't have to edit any of these. If you were replacing a different part, you might have to. Alright, we would hit apply or OK once you make those changes. I'm going to hit cancel because we didn't actually change anything, nor did we change anything with the gun itself, so we're just going to cancel there as well. So that's just if you want to remove parts, make so they're not craftable, so they don't spawn on enemies, if you just don't want to see them. If we want to replace a part with a different one, so in this case we're going to look at a couple of the upper receivers and replace them with a different style, a different model. So we're going to go back up to these parts where it just says underscore mod underscore service rifle. There's no extra prefix and they don't have an icon. These are what we call O mods, or object mods, and they're just the parts that you're able to attach and swap out on your weapon. This has the actual stats for them and tells which model they're pointed to. So we're going to find the receivers down here, and we're going to swap out these marksman receivers, which we might have to look through and figure out which ones are called what, for just a different model. And actually I think we're looking at these ones, because Deadpool on the service rifle actually has the receiver split into uppers and lowers. So we're swapping out the upper receivers for this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the one that I want to swap to. So I think we're going to use this for the regular upper receiver black. So we're going to swap the model to. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to go up here where it says model. It's not loading anything right now because it's in the, it's not a loose file, it's in the archive. But all I want to do is highlight this whole thing and hit copy. I'm not going to hit OK. I'm going to hit this, and cancel. But now that I have copied the path to that other model, I can go into the marksman receiver black, go to the same place, and just paste that path over its. So now we should have the upper receiver black, the side upper receiver black, instead of the marksman ones. So I'll swap out the model. Now we'll hit OK. We put a different path in there, and we'll hit OK on here as well. So you would just do that with each of the parts that you want to swap out. So if I wanted to get rid of all three marksman uppers, I would just do copy the path from the side upper receiver black, copy it into that one. Upper receiver metal, I would copy from that into the marksman receiver metal. And the upper receiver standard, I would copy into the marksman receiver standard. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You can use these same methods to swap out pretty much anything else. I wouldn't try to load models from one weapon and replace parts on another weapon with it. But if you want, you know, a barrel to look different, or you want a stock to swap out the different models for them or something like that, this is the basic process that you use. You just copy the file path for that model, paste it over the file path for the one you want to replace, and that's pretty much it. Once you're done, all you have to do in this case is hit save. Now, as I said before, we're making our changes directly to this plugin up here, the Fallout 4 New Vegas Service Rifle Redux. Make sure you have backed that up. Say it one more time. Make sure you've backed it up before you make any of these changes. Because if something doesn't work, then you can just go back in, replace it with the old plugin, and try it again. So I'm going to hit save here and call it good. If you already have the mod installed, saving like that means it's already ready to go. All you have to do is go into the game and test it out. One thing to remember about any mod, any changes that affect something that is in a leveled list, so like weapons are in leveled lists or armors that are in leveled lists, it might take the amount of time it normally takes for a leveled list to reset before you see those changes, which in Fallout 4 I believe is around 5 days. So you just want to rest or sleep or wait or whatever for 5 days in game to let the level list sort of cycle around and remove those parts. It will also not remove parts from any that they're already attached to. So if you have already picked up a weapon that has that part attached to it, that's still going to be around, so you'll have to go swap that out. Typically, you will still get the loose mod when you swap that out, so that's still going to stick around. You're not going to get rid of it permanently, but you can just throw it away. I think that's good for this one. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and I'll see if I can clarify, but that should do it.